Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video from Maman Talks NRL SuperCoach. In today's video, I'm going to go through my final team reveal. I think I'm settled on the 25-man squad that I've built. Hopefully not too many tweaks that I'll be umming and ahhing about until lockout, which is tomorrow. So hopefully you all enjoy the video. If you do, appreciate a thumbs up. Do please consider subscribing to the channel, and let's get straight into it. So here is the team in all of its glory. To be honest, there's not too many changes from what I presented in last night's stream, and honestly, most of the team I think is fairly settled. There was just a few 50-50s that I've been kind of umming and ahhing about, and probably the noticeable change is with the exclusion of Nicho Hynes now that he's out for round one. I've gone for Sam Walker just because I think I really want to capitalize potentially on that Dolphins matchup with him goal kicking. Got the Warriors in round 2, Rabbitohs in round 3 before the bye in round 4. Rough plan at the moment I think is around round 4 when he's got the bye, maybe to then at that point make a switch to Nicho Hynes. Definitely an argument to move Katoa up to the halfback spot and go for a gun 5'8", but I'm happy enough I think with Sam Walker when he's goal kicking as well. He was kind of the first person I thought of when in terms of replacing Nicho Hynes, so for me I'm kind of just going to go with that initial gut reaction I think I had, and pair him up with Brandon Smith and James Tedesco from the Roosters. I really like Egan Butcher. I really do think he's probably one of the front runners now for that mid-range second row forward spot. One, I can't quite afford him, but two, it would be meaning 4 Roosters players. One thing I'm also going to go through with my team is a bit of an overview of the future weeks in terms of the buys and who I'd actually be looking to reserve. I think it's actually a worthwhile exercise to do, because if you really want a player but you start overloading from one team, it actually will hinder you, especially in rounds 3, 4 where teams like the Panthers and the Roosters have a bye. So we'll get into that in the next section. But noticeable change here is Cam Murray. With that Nicho Hynes money, I've now moved him into the second row forward, pairing him up with Dave Fifita and Murata Niokore. I think I want to take the chance with him, just with the expectation he plays good minutes for the Warriors in an improved side. Hopgood on the bench, Matt Dury and Jacob Preston. In the 50-50 regarding Dury and Bryce Cartwright, I think Dury was going to be playing that right edge and having first crack at that. Now with Shaun Lane's injury, I feel like Cartwright has now moved in because of that. But I think when Shaun Lane is back, I feel like it's going to be Dury who's going to be the one who's safer long term. If I'm wrong on it, we can always switch to Cartwright, but I'm happy enough with Dury I think at this point in time. Hopefully we'll see as well in the final team sheet for the Eels, if we see someone like Jacob Arthur or Mitch Rain come in from the extended bench, that would reduce the number of forwards on the Eels bench, so hopefully means more minutes for Dury. Hopgood is a set and forget for me. I will absolutely be playing him in my 17, given that he will be starting, probably playing decent minutes at 60 to 65. One of the main things that I've been thinking about is just potentially improving the front row forward. Decided that I think I preferred the second row forward options. Really what my 50-50 was Ruben Cotter or Dave Fifita. I think when I had that money to go up to Cam Murray, seeing his ownership at like 36%, knowing that he's got such a good extended run of games without a bye, an absolute gun. I really don't own many other Rabbitohs apart from Isaac Thompson. I thought I wanted to get in and lock in, I think, someone like Cam Murray. And so then for me, it became a case of, I've got one pretty safe guy in Cam Murray. Can I take a chance on a higher upside guy in Fifita, who does have a early buy in round 5, compared to Ruben Cotter, who's going to be pretty safe himself? In the end, my decision was going with Fifita. I've had him all preseason. I think he's going to improve from last year. I think I'd be pretty filthy as well if he absolutely smashed it from the beginning of the season and I didn't own him. I feel less so if that happened with Cotter. So for me, again, this is more of an instinctive gut feel. I'm not running with Tanner Boyd. So if Tanner Boyd does improve Fifita, at least a bit of a hedge is that I've got the guy who Tanner Boyd hopefully should be sending over for the tries. Happy enough with Christian Welch and Stefano. I think the West Tigers bench is pretty encouraging for Oitamanu's minutes, hopefully. Franklin Pele is now in the team as well. I think with that long-term injury to Luke Thompson, I'm happy enough with Pele at 216k. Haven't gone Davey Moale at this point. That's actually because there may be a couple of weeks where I may need to actually reserve Sean Kepi, and so I think him starting, there's maybe a better potential for minutes. I understand that the PPM isn't fantastic, but 274k, I'm happy to take the chance with him, with the knowledge that we can always trade down to Moale if it looks like we were in the wrong. No change to the hookers, and I highly doubt that this is going to change. I'm very comfortable with Harry Grant and Brandon Smith. Cleary's not going anywhere for me as well. Adam Dewey absolutely locked in. Argument to not, I think, start with Katoa just because of the risk with him potentially being out of the team in a few weeks if he underperforms. But I think it's easy enough to start with him, knowing that we've got a pretty clean exit to someone like Josh Schuster in a few weeks, who's only about 20-30k more expensive. So that's the only reason why I'm probably more okay with having someone like Katoa, and he frees up a lot of money as well to enable double gun second row forwards in Murray and Fifita. I think I'm pretty comfortable as well with the centre wing position of Holmes and To'o. Again, To'o, I've been kind of 50-50 between him and Ruben Cotter. I think for the long term, they're probably going to equal each other in points. I guess I also just want to take the chance on To'o's upside in comparison to someone like a Cotter. Like I think To'o on his day can comfortably also get around 50. Cotter's probably going to get you around 60. So I think all things equal, no attacking stats, Cotter's probably going to outscore him by 10 something points. But I think on that occasion where To'o gets a try, maybe a double, I think there's potentially going to be enough of those games that he can make up for it, if not potentially outscore Ruben Cotter. So I'm sticking with Ryan To'o. And the other potential doubt was Isaac Thompson, but I think I'm happy enough to go with him. A Rabbitohs winger, I think hopefully he sticks in that position for the long term and kind of beats out someone like Tane Milne. And I think with having Latrell being so crucial for the Rabbitohs wingers, I feel like Thompson also got a pretty Supercoach friendly game. So I'm happy enough, I think, to go with him, knowing that there's a lot of other cheap exit routes in Chancellor Klukstad, Tommy Talau. I think at the moment I'm sticking with the player from the better attacking net team. And for the rest of the centre wings, they all kind of picked themselves, to be honest. Taruva, Alamotti, Warbrick, Campera, all absolutely locked into my team. I've actually got Campera playing over Isaac Thompson this week. Campera's got the Tigers away. Thompson's got the Sharks away. So I think I'm just going to play it on matchups here. I think the Titans are an improved attacking outfit as well. Kieran Foran looked to be really good for Campera on that left side of the field. So I'm happy enough, I think, to play him. I've got my reserves highlighted as well. Highly doubt that's going to change. Brandon Smith, Hopgood, Sam Walker, and Tom Trbojevic. I think I'm also going to be locking in Cleary vice captain and Teddy captain. Don't foresee me changing my fullbacks either. So honestly, I'm fairly settled, I think, on 23 out of 25 players. It was really that kind of, do I upgrade the front row forward position to someone like Cotter at the expense of someone like Cam Murray? Maybe reduce Cam Murray down to another kind of mid-range second row forward like a Trent Liero, but I think I'm happy enough with Murray as an absolute gun. And in terms of getting back to Nicho Hynes, I think in round 4, there's a few ways that I could do it. Sam Walker to Nicho Hynes is going to cost maybe 270k. So if Fafita for the first month is frustrating me, knowing that he's got to buy it in round 5, he's potentially a sell down to one of those performing mid-range second row forwards. That frees up the money for me to go up to someone like Nicho Hynes. Let's say someone like Sonny Luke is absolutely killing it, 234k. Brandon Smith down to him, or even Harry Grant potentially if he's underperforming. Him down, one of them two down to Sonny Luke, gets the money to go from Sam Walker up to Nicho Hynes. Brian To'o could be underperforming, Val Holmes could be underperforming. I'm happy enough, I think, with enough guns in the team. There's enough ways that I can kind of go down to players to be able to free up the money. So I think we'll let the season play out as it is. I'm happy enough to start with Sam Walker, and that's a squad. 5.7k in the bank. I don't really think I'm going to be tinkering too much else with the team, so here it is. As I mentioned, I did want to have a quick discussion as well about buys, and so plugging my team into my buy planning spreadsheet, which is still available as well. Do shoot me an email if you are interested. Definitely do refer to my buy planning video as well. This shows what my team currently as of round 1 will look like for the next 8 rounds. Obviously this is not going to account for any potential trades. So when I was starting to plan out who would be my 4 reserves each week, who would I be playing, it really started to make me realize that rounds 3 and 4, when the Panthers and the Roosters are not playing, it is going to be a bit tough, I think, to manage our reserves. But I think I've got enough of a depth in my team that I think I can kind of manage it. So hopefully you all can see this here. I've tried to circle in purple just to match the reserve color who would be my likely reserves each week. So rounds 1 and 2 I think are okay. Obviously Manly having a bye means Turbo is not going to be playing, but as you can see, both Will Warbrick and Cam Pereira have the Bulldogs and Dragons, so I think they're perfectly fine to be playing as a reserve. I'll have Sam Walker, I'll still have Hopgood, and I'll still have Brandon Smith. So I think I'll be able to get out 4 reserves that I'm happy with, I think, for that week. Round 3 is going to be a tough week because no Cleary, no Taruva, and no Brian To'o. But in round 3, I'll have Brandon Smith, I'll have Tom Trbojevic, I'll have Hopgood. So then it just comes down to that 4th reserve. It's either going to be someone like Matt Dury, maybe someone like a Jacob Preston, maybe someone like Sean Keppie. So there's a few alternative ways that I could go with that kind of 4th reserve. Could even be potentially Cam Pereira against the Melbourne Storm. Not ideal if I had to do that, but look, that's also an option. The Titans are playing at home. Round 4, when the Roosters are out. Now let's assume that I don't do the Sam Walker to Nicho Hynes trade. I'm going to have Sam Walker, Brandon Smith, and Teddy out that week. So a few big gun players there. So that week, what I would have to do in terms of reserves probably would be Alamotti and Will Warbrick. Again, probably okay with that. Warbrick's got West Tigers. Paul Alamotti's got the Warriors away. It might have to lean at that point to someone like Sean Keppie, who's got Rabbitohs away, but he's a forward, so that I guess that doesn't really matter. And luckily, Hopgood does have a game as well. So round 4 is where I foresee potential issues. But remember, if I do that Sam Walker to Nicho Hynes trade, I will be getting a second halfback at that point, which means I may have to avoid playing someone like Sean Keppie. So those two really were the crucial rounds. I think from that point onwards, once you've locked in your second halfback, at that point Teddy's over with his bye, Cleary's over with his bye, Turbo's over with his bye, and at that point you've got a pretty strong 4 reserves, I think, to select from every week. So this is something that I would recommend doing as well with your own team that you've plugged in for round 1. Just have a look and see how you're going to manage those reserves, particularly in the first 4 weeks. I think rounds 3, 4, and 5, if you're loading up on Fafita, maybe a Tino, maybe a Tanner Boyd, maybe an AJ Brimson, for example, I feel like those 3 weeks are going to be quite crucial, especially as those are weeks where we're going to have to try to be navigating trades as well to bring in cheapies. So definitely is worthwhile, I think, setting a 25-man squad where if in the event you made no trades, you're still happy with the 4 reserves that you can select. So definitely think I'd recommend doing that. Again, doing that and realizing that I think my reserves might be okay is another reason why I think I'm overall happy with the team that I've picked. Well, that's it, guys. That is my final team reveal. Pretty quick video. I don't think there's really too much to go into. I spent a lot of time in my live stream from yesterday and all my videos during the preseason talking a lot about the players in depth. So this is just a real quick wrap up just to show you guys what the team is looking like. I will attempt to do a live stream as well on Thursday, but where obviously you will see my team, but I'm not anticipating to be making any changes, I think, to that 25-man squad. So definitely, if you like it, give the video a thumbs up. If you like the squad, definitely let me know in the comments. If you don't like the squads, still let me know in the comments. I'm happy to take on any feedback or recommendations as well. But do please consider subscribing as well to the channel if you have enjoyed the content in the preseason and you want to see more of this moving forward in the 2023 season. We're one more sleep away from the start of round 1. How good. Hope you all enjoy. See you all in the next one.